First, let's take a look at Existing Monkey. Again, first top cut performance, Los Angeles Regional top 16, already way beyond top 16 up until this point, and bringing some really interesting picks. We haven't really seen much of that Carbink. I think it's providing a lot of bench pressure, but we have seen the Abomasnow as well as the Annihilate.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of this. Well, I'm wondering overall, as just the Umbreons in general, neither one of them are going to be able to hit each other very hard. The Foul Plays or the Psychics or the Foul Plays or Dark Pulses aren't doing much. Reis20ccasion, we've talked about him quite a few times as well. Very well known within this circuit, top cutting almost every regional he's attended, but still looking for that regional champion title in North America this season. He's running a double debuff team as well. We've kind of talked about this. Dugong and Wigglytuff both running Icy Wind, which is a 100% guaranteed to lower your opponent's attack.
Yeah, and what's more frustrating? Is it more frustrating getting stuck against something that you know is going to lower attack, or losing a coin flip to something like a Whiscash? I'm not so sure.
I think a lot of times, I mean, trainers would prefer to know for sure, right? Of course, you want to play to your win conditions, and if you know that something is going to debuff you, it changes things less, and it's like, okay, I need to rely on this debuff to let it happen. Looks like these trainers are tapping their screens. They are getting ready to go into game one here. We have the Shadow Gligar versus the Umbreon. Like we pointed out before, this double dark Pokemon running Dark Pulse and Foul Play. Foul Play pacing just a bit quicker, but not hitting quite as hard, but they'll do just fine for Reis20ccasion at this beginning portion, as there's no shield from the Shadow Gligar.
Yes, it looks like both trainers content to stay in this matchup, being fairly neutral and wanting to see how it is going to play out. Both the Gligar really relying on its heavy hitting charge attacks, the Umbreon relying more on its bulk to carry it through the lead matchup. If you take a look at what's in the back, we have the Abomasnow and the Lantern for Existing Monkey. Reis20ccasion also bringing a Lantern, but bringing the Wigglytuff as well. The Wigglytuff not finding its two counters that it really wants to see. The Annihilate and the Umbreon are still on the bench for Existing Monkey.
But to be fair, Wigglytuff has pretty decent play against almost that whole team besides the Carbink, so I don't blame Reis for bringing that, and I also don't blame him for putting the Umbreon in the lead. If you want something that you don't need to use a lot of shield investments in at the beginning, Umbreon is a great pick. We've seen many trainers using that. Lantern swapping in, and it looks like Reis is responding with his own Lantern here. This is a great call because this means that Reis20ccasion's Lantern can most likely avoid the Abomasnow on the Existing Monkey side.
Yes, and it looks like Existing Monkey going to get to that Thunderbolt first, but you can see how much of a health disadvantage it is at right now, where Reis20ccasion has a Thunderbolt going right before the Lantern gets to another charge attack.
Yeah, going up to almost 100 energy before putting this down. There are two shields left on the field, and it looks like that first one is being used by Existing Monkey. Wants to try to get his charge attack off as well, seeing if he can do anything against Reis20ccasion here. Going for that Surf Bait. I don't think it'll be enough to knock out, but maybe it would be enough to get a shield from Reis, and it does!
Oh, what a call for Existing Monkey, being able to throw that, throw the bait. Now, Existing Monkey has to decide, does Reis20ccasion have the Thunderbolt? Are you going to shield it? Going to actually let it go? Stays on with 1 HP, a very quick thinking swap, and here comes the Abomasnow. Reis20ccasion can't swap out quite yet, so being forced to throw a charge attack here.
I think Reis20ccasion is actually okay with this. I wonder if he will just continue to go down, or if he's going to end up swapping out. The problem is, if you swap out, you switch lock yourself into a Pokemon that can debuff you for that entire time that you're in. He's going to go ahead and catch that on the Umbreon, just using that Umbreon as basically a shield at this point, saying, okay, I don't really need you anymore. You've done your job. Well done, Umbreon. And at this point, now there's still a ton of energy coming back in once more with the Lantern, but this play slightly confuses me, because if that Abomasnow gets to another attack, an Icy Wind, that Wigglytuff is going to be out for the entire rest of the tournament there.
Yes, it is. So it is standing there, and it is going to have to take two, not one, but probably two Icy Winds, bringing the power of Charm down, really reducing what Wigglytuff is going to be able to do. There's two Icy Winds that it is going to be able to throw. Wigglytuff is going to have to stay. Reis does not have an option to clear the debuff anymore.
Yeah, now coming in with that Gligar, wants to try to be able to get an attack. This is the heavier hitting one. Existing Monkey is able to get to the dig because of the double double debuff of the charm here. The real question is this enough to knock out the Wigglytuff? It's not quite. The Gligar goes down. There's so little health on both Pokemon remaining on Existing Monkey's side.
Yep, so Existing Monkey has to make a call. Can it tank a couple of charms? And it can. Being able to throw both of those Icy Winds, really reducing the power of Charm. If Charm was at full power, then it would have been able to more easily knock out those Pokemon. So I really think that was very key to be able to throw those Icy Winds, get the Wigglytuff into a situation where it could not switch back out.
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder if Reis20ccasion was thinking about that as well. He definitely saw that there was the Abomasnow, and coming in with the Lantern instead of the Wigglytuff was an interesting choice, especially when it got so low. This catch was absolutely fantastic by Reis. I also think that maybe the other part that could have helped him, although it's so hard to call, I understand, is if he didn't shield up the second Icy Wind and instead shielded up the dig from the Gligar. Yeah,
because the dig is just going to do so much damage with that being a Shadow Gligar. Existing Monkey has a win, but remember, we are in the winners finals. This is a best of 5. He needs 2 more wins against Reis20ccasion. Reis20ccasion needs to come back and win 3 times. That is tough when you're already looking at the road ahead and you're already down 1 game.
What I really also want to bring up about these 2 trainers is just the fact that it's like, we've talked about it many times. Reis20ccasion is a well-known name in the circuit, someone who's been up on this stage many times, has so much experience playing against so many different trainers. This is Existing Monkey's first top cut, and not only that, he is in the top 3. Like, he has been doing so incredibly well, and maybe has a little bit of an advantage in a way that people have not been able to see his play style yet. He's using a very interesting team and has obviously been serving him very well in Los Angeles.
Yes, and being in the winner's side of the bracket, you have less battles. So Reis20ccasion can't even sit and watch him from the loser side of the bracket playing all day. We've been spending so much time on that loser's bracket run because those trainers have such a long ways to go from that side of the table. But here, we haven't seen as many battles from Existing Monkey. There hasn't been as much footage for Reis to be able to review.
That's absolutely true. I wonder if Existing Monkey also will change his playstyle at all, knowing that he saw that Wigglytuff in that very first matchup makes it a little scarier to bring an Annihilate or to bring that Umbreon, and maybe in this secondary matchup, because I mean, obviously, since it does so well against those Pokemon, maybe that was Reis's plan a little bit. Like, okay, if I have one of these Pokemon, maybe I can bench it for Game 2 or Game 3, you know, the rest of it, because it's going to be so top of mind for my opponent that they're not going to want to bring the hard counters for it.
And here we are down on the field of battle. We are in Game 2 of the winners finals, and we have a great lead for Reis20ccasion. We have the fighting type Annihilate up against the ice type Abomasnow. We see Existing Monkey immediately peeling out of that matchup. Looks like Reis20ccasion going to want to get a little bit of chip damage, looking to stay in this matchup. For the Lantern, I would say probably he's going to be wanting to bring in his own Lantern into the mirror, perhaps, or just stay in.
Yeah, I think at this point it's kind of difficult for him. He wants to get as much chip damage as possible, catching a Surf, which is even better for Reis20ccasion here. But the fact that he saw both the Abomasnow and the Lantern, it makes it a little bit nerve-wracking for that Gligar in the back. Definitely wants to take out at least one of the counters and make sure that they can go back in. But you know what we see here? We also see that there is going to be a Carbink in the back. But you know what? Carbink doesn't really actually have that great of a matchup against a Gligar or Annihilate with shields.
Yeah, I am really interested seeing that Carbink. It's not up against like the Umbreon or the Dugong that it really wants to see. So I'm really curious how this is going to play out now that Reis20ccasion has knocked out the opposing Lantern. All shields are still in play. The Abomasnow isn't really in a position where it can fast move down, so it's going to have to throw some energy at some point.
I think if you're Reis20ccasion, you probably don't want to swap out of this, because at least if the Lantern goes down to this Abomasnow, you can align your Annihilate back up with it again. If he swaps out, there's always a chance that this Abomasnow will be caught on the Gligar later. Great counting by Existing Monkey right when the Nexus Surf is ready to go, throwing this Icy Wind, knocking that Lantern out, and Existing Monkey is now going to be faced back up at the beginning of the turn with the Annihilate on the Abomasnow.
Yes, so, but then we're going to see a swap out. We're going to see Gligar into Carbink, and that's not really what Carbink wants to be.
Nothing that really the Carbink is going to be able to throw. Gonna throw an Icy Wind here first. He has it, so figures why not make it this counter damage to just a little bit less, and not getting a shield from Reis20ccasion here. Wants to see what that back Pokemon is. It's gonna be that Carbink. It's gonna come in with the Gligar. Like we said before, look, this is not doing that much damage, and it mainly, you need to get up to the Moonblast, but the dig is also gonna be important. If Reis is counting, I think he knows that it's not a Moonblast, but he wants to just keep that Gligar as healthy as possible for this. Gonna go ahead, use that first Protect Shield, because he is at the dig, and go just a little bit more in energy now before throwing the first one out.
Yes, and we see Carbink so rarely in the play Pokemon in the official championship circuit here. So we're going to see a dig get shielded here by Carbink, and I'm noticing at how much damage these fast attacks are doing alone to the Gligar.
Yeah, it is true. It is whittling it down over time. Not using a shield on this dig, that's big. As you can see, super effective damage. Carbink is very bulky. Already at a Moonblast now, going for that Rock Slide bait. Does the Reis20ccasion want to use both of his shields here? You can see him shaking his head. He's not happy at this turnout. He knows there's an Abomasnow in the back, and now the Abomasnow is coming in, at least throwing this aerial ace here. This is going to be super effective should Existing Monkey choose not to shield. He doesn't want to let this go down, I don't think, so he's going to go ahead, but lucky for Reis20ccasion, going to be able to swap out, going for that heavier hitting Shadow Ball.
Yes, Shadow Ball is going to be enough to knock out the Abomasnow here, so let's go ahead and take a look. Shadow Ball going boom, Abomasnow going down, and then we have the Carbink, who is going to get to a charged attack first. It is going to be the Annihilate, but just by a very slim margin.
Yeah, Annihilate able to get this Night Slash. It's not going to be very effective at all against this Fairy-type Pokemon. However, it will be enough to knock it down when it is that low. Reis20ccasion tying up this series, tying up this best of 5, and basically, it's like we're at zeros again, DeFi.
It is. We are 1-1, so this has become a best of 3. So these trainers just need to win 2 times in order to move on and advance. They're looking for that ticket to the grand finals here in Los Angeles. They are looking for the crown. They are looking for that advantage, being able to come in from the winner's side of the bracket.
And I don't blame Existing Monkey at all for bringing a Carbink into that team, especially seeing Reis20ccasion's first lineup. That was such a huge gamble for him, for the fact that Existing Monkey didn't even bring it in. Going ahead, taking out that Icy Wind. The Shadow Ball will be enough to knock out the Abomasnow, and here comes that race you were talking about, not between our dark horses of the Umbreon, but just a race between counter and rock throw damage, being able to get to that Night Slash first to knock it out.
Yes, that was a lot closer, because we were talking about, like, where is this Carbink gonna go? It's not finding the counters it's wanted. We just saw, like, how potent that Carbink can be.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you get a little bit of an energy advantage like Existing Monkey had there, and now everything's kind of back up in the air, right? So if you're Reis20ccasion, you're thinking, man, I'm not sure if I want to bring in my Umbreon anymore. A Carbink, which is going to be a complete wall to it. In a similar way that Existing Monkey was probably thinking, I don't want to bring my Annihilate in case I face that Wigglytuff.
So what do you bring into this matchup? It is really tough. It is a lot of mind games. Existing Monkey just might be showing like, hey, I'm not afraid to bring my Carbink. You need to keep that Carbink in mind and then just keep it on the bench, like continue using it as bench pressure, as he's really been doing this entire tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, you have to wonder, am I going to double down on it? Because sometimes when trainers lose a matchup, I think the opposing trainer thinks, oh, well, okay, obviously since I won this, the other trainer is, you know, going to have to run something different. But, I mean, just like Shady Equation said earlier, I don't think it was the team comp problem. I think I just misplayed something or two. Maybe Existing Monkey is thinking, hey, I should have had that game if I just would have played it just a little bit differently. I want another shot. And it looks like that might actually be the case as we have the Carbink lined up against the Gligar. Not the great matchup for it. Again, we'll have to see what he wants to pivot into.
Yes, actually looking to stay in. Again, being able to do a lot of really nice damage with its fast attacks alone. And we saw that Carbink can comfortably tank a dig even from a Shadow Gligar.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to do exactly that. No, covering it up, recognizing there's not really a shot that there would be a bait there, since the Air Lace would do absolutely nothing to the Carbink. Just continuing to charge away here, now throwing his first attack. And will Reis20ccasion want to shield and keep that Gligar Gligar healthy, or is he going to let it go? He's going to let it go through. I think that it's still going to be able to get to yet another attack if this Existing Monkey wants to let that go through.
Yes, and already having used one Protect Shield, not willing to go 2 shields down in the lead. That can lead to such a drastic situation. Instead, going to be happy to win switch advantage at the cost of that first Protect Shield. Now Reis20ccasion deciding, am I going to bring in that Annihilate here, trying to get some neutral counter damage in, and here comes the Lantern, which Reis20ccasion has Dugong in the back. Dugong doesn't want to see this Lantern matchup, so kind of having to stay in here.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see that Carbink later either, but he knows that, okay, at least I have a little bit of an energy advantage on this Annihilate. I'm going to start doing a little bit back to the Lantern. Already one shield has been stripped, and now going for that heavier hitting Shadow Ball. We saw it in a previous matchup. Shadow Ball does quite a bit to Lantern. Existing Monkey already used one Protect Shield, using them both up at this point, and I think that we're going to see a shield on Rise's side because he needs to get off this Shadow Ball of his own.
Yeah, so there we have the Surf. Reis20ccasion has 2 shields. You have to use them at some point. So using a shield to shield the Surf to be able to use another charged attack. There is the Shadow Ball. That Lantern is going to be washed back to sea.
Yeah, Shadow Ball will connect. We'll have to see what Existing Monkey wants to bring into this. Will he be bringing in his own Shadow Gligar to get a lot of energy, or will he be bringing back in the Carbink just to try to load up? The switch timer is up. The immediate swap out from the Dugong into the Gligar. The switch timer is up for Existing Monkey, but I think he wants to get a little bit of damage off first, or maybe waiting for a Reis20ccasion to throw an Icy Wind before swapping himself. First drill or dig going through, and it is unprotected by Reis.
Yeah, so we're going to see the full force of that dig, and now we see that swap into the Carbink. There is no Protect Shields remaining, so this is going to connect to the Carbink for some nice super effective damage, knocking the Carbink out, bringing the Gligar back in. However, Gligar has no shields remaining. Reis20ccasion able to utilize this Dugong in order to knock the Shadow Gligar out and take the lead back to kind of wrestle that momentum, taking the game 2-1.
Reis says, I see your Carbink, but you know what? I'm still going to bring in my Dugong there, and I think Existing Monkey was kind of hoping that it was scared off all of the Carbink counter, you know, like that Dugong or also the Umbreon from Existing, and then obviously his Shadow Gligar would have had so much more play.
Yes, I really was interested in that battle. One thing at moment I took note of is when Reis20ccasion stayed in with the Annihilate, because when you're up against an opponent and you notice them not switching out, that can often telegraph to you what they might have in that backline matchup.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and look at this. That first dig, able to connect, getting that Carbink really low here and knocking down that Gligar. This was that second Shadow Ball that you were talking about, DeFi. With no shields left remaining, it's going to knock out that Lantern, and it puts Reis20ccasion in a very good position here. Gligar trying to do everything he can, but this Icy Wind will definitely be enough.
Yes, and now Reis20ccasion with that Dugong has put himself in a great position. He needs one more win in order to stamp his ticket into the grand finals. But Existing Monkey needs 2 wins back-to-back to say the same. The loser of this is going to be going down to the losers finals to face a Shady Equation and that Shadow Whiscash.
Yeah, these trainers very concentrated at this moment. And like we talked about before, typically these tournaments are the best of 3 runs, but since we are in the winners finals, this is going to be a best of 5. It is still anyone's game. Existing Monkey needing 2 games to win. Reis20ccasion sitting a little bit more comfortable, maybe breathing a little bit more easy now that he has that next one in. We're going to jump right into that next round here. And Carbink, here we go again, this time against the Annihilate in the lead.
Yes, Existing Monkey saying, I brought this Carbink today. I am going to use it here in the championships. And you can see Existing Monkey really going for that Moonblast, being really the only option for charge attack that it wants to use.
Yeah, the Shadow Ball will connect. It's going to do a lot of damage to that Carbink, but Carbink is so bulky that it's going to be fine. I think Existing Monkey's plan is like, okay, well, I'm going to at least get a shield off of you here, and that's exactly what he does. Reis20ccasion wants to keep that Annihilate healthy. He wants to try to get some sort of alignment. He knows that the counter damage is doing way more to the Carbink than the Carbink Sparklers are doing to the Annihilate itself. And even though Existing Monkey is is clicking a lot on the Moonblast. He's not going to reach it in time.
No, it doesn't matter how fast you tap in that moment. It is just not going to power up. And now we have a really interesting situation where the two trainers have the exact same Pokemon in their back lines. They have both have Shadow Gligar and have the Lantern. However, Reis20ccasion being able to use his Annihilate first. We're also now down to Shield parity. So Reis20ccasion, his big advantage here is having that one extra Pokemon.
Yeah, and I really like this play by Reis. It was very brave. He went for that Night Slash bait instead of actually going for the Shadow Ball. An existing monkey completely fell for it because he was thinking, of course, he's just going to let that Annihilate go down. He's going to save energy. Instead, coming in with a Gligar of his own, now throwing this Aerial Ace, not getting a shield this time from existing monkey, but he's got a decent amount of energy. Wants to try to get that Gligar off of the field.
Yes, I'm very interested. I'm trying to see the path ahead of me. I don't have the Future Sight Cresselia, but I'm trying to look and see how is this Annihilate, that deciding factor, that deciding advantage, going to play into the endgame matchup.
I mean, the fact that Reis20ccasion just has another Pokemon is going to be big. He could use it for a catch, he could use it for countering down, just extra damage in general. These Sparks are not doing too much. I think he's going to have to end up using his shield here to shield up the dig. But because he does this, I think existing monkey is just going to shield and completely Spark down, come out with a lot of energy to at least threaten what he's going to see in the back.
Yeah, so existing monkey now having this energy advantage instead of having a health advantage like Reis20ccasion's Lantern is going to be having here.
Yeah, I think when he saw that Annihilate come back in, he's like, okay, I'm willing to sacrifice this energy advantage because I want to see what's coming in at this point. I need that Annihilate out of the way. Show me your third Pokemon, Reis.
And there it is, but existing monkey, again, having a little bit of an energy advantage, and Reis20ccasion is switch locked here. He can't use that Shadow Gligar as a sacrificial swap, as a third shield quite yet.
It's still going to come absolutely down to the wire because he will definitely be able to reach a Thunderbolt, and there was a sliver of health that was a little bit lesser on existing monkey's Lantern. Reis20ccasion might be able to end up going for a Surf after this, depending on how much spark damage goes. It's going to be such a race. Will this Thunderbolt be enough from existing monkey's side, or will it be able to reach in time? Charge attack priority going to Reis20ccasion. Surf's coming through.
Yes, Surf's coming through, and let's see the knockout coming. Lantern uses Surf, knocks out the Lantern, and Reis20ccasion punches his ticket into the grand finals here in Los Angeles.
Punches his fist into the air as well. I don't think that either trainer was aware which one was actually going to win that charge attack priority. It wasn't something that had happened in any of the previous matchups.